tell me about right. Tell me about the idea for the artwork for Beauty Stab.
Hmm. Interesting, because well, Martyn meant it very poetically.
Yes.
That's all, and we just felt it needed something like that. And for God's sake, on record, none of us are bullfighting fans.
Of course. I'd say I understand all this, Mark. And when the album came out, I went, well, that's a daring choice. And of course it links with the title perfectly, and it's very artistic and very kind of cultural. But people take things so literally. It's like it's
Hello.
what doing Penthouse of Pavement. Everybody thought that we were like yuppies, and clearly it was a satire.
Was it?
It was.
Go on.
But anyway, yeah, it's just
Thank God it's not like the cancel culture of now, where I doubt I would have survived that.
Yeah, you and me
You know
both.
what I mean? If they just get the wrong thing, doesn't matter how much you explain, cancel. And I don't remember there being a big hoo-ha at the time about it.
No, I tell you what I thought, which is, and I actually talked to Paul Barr about this over lunch the other day, because I said, "Come on, you must have some stories to tell," and he said, when that came in, as far as he was concerned, when that came out, he felt like me, which is, it was like it seemed a little obtuse. That's the word I'd use.
I think that sums up the whole album, I think, yes.
Right. When I've got a similar kind of thing, which is when we first heard that we were going to sign to Virgin, our immediate response was to put out Dignity of Labour, which is completely uncommercial.
I love that.
I know.
Martyn, I wish you'd just done a whole stream of that stuff.
Me too.
As just because when Low came out and the side 2 sproined me, it was just, wow, it's like classical orchestral, but done with synths, and it was all that tempo rubato stuff where I'm going, who's counting what? No, I've known the album for like 40 years or whatever it is, and I still don't know where I can't count with it. It's just, I like that. It's beautiful.
It is.
And it was fantastic. And I really thought, wow, people are gonna take this and run with it. And when I heard Dignity of Labour, I thought, yeah, this is exactly what we need, like a whole stream of that. Move over Stockhausen,
Roll over
Stockhausen. Steve Reich, move over.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind, but I don't think that's quite true. Tell us about Beauty Stab, though. Let's get back onto, what you thought about the content of Beauty Stab, as opposed to, well, look, we discussed in the last one how difficult it is to follow up Lexicon of Love. And
to go further, impossible.
Impossible, yeah. It kind of like it's a bit of a Pyrrhic victory. That's what you'd say, isn't it? I love that.
Well, it's a curse. It's a curse I can live with. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But and of course I just get prouder of it. So don't regret it. And anyway, it's just what happened. But the way that whole period came about is Lexicon was immensely successful round the world. We had hits in America, Germany, Japan, but we were just traveling ourselves ragged and did this world tour. So Britain, followed by Europe, America, straight on to Japan. Oh, it was exhausting. And some people love touring. I mean, I don't. I just find it too tiring and also not very creative because it's just the same thing. Well, this is what it is to me. I know
Yeah.
other people live for it. That's fine. But I didn't feel like that. So it was like, I mean, I really did go on stage sometimes. And I think I remember one very vividly. I think we were doing Paris Olympia, and came on stage and there's all the big applause. Wonderful, wonderful. And then halfway through, I'm thinking, what shall I have from the room service tonight? Ooh,
I have this out of body experience
God.
as well. Yeah.
Which is bizarre.
Do you ever get that thing? I know it's often described as, hovering above your body, astral projection kind of thing. I absolutely get that on stage. I get it on stage, actually, when I'm less emotionally connected with the music. When it's like, I don't know, We Live So Fast or something that's really kind of firing all the neurons, but not in a kind of emotional way. And I often get that thing, and I start looking at people in the audience who are all enjoying it and they're dancing, and then I notice the guy in the wheelchair down the side who's grooving along, and then I go, oh, I wonder how he lost use of his legs. And before I know it, I'm completely on autopilot.
Yeah.
Don't know where I am, what I'm doing, and I have to completely refocus. Yeah, I mean, I need to talk to you about the whole Reiki thing later, by the way, which I find fascinating, personally. So yes, going back to
So yeah, I had lots of things like that where I just thought, oh God, no, this is just. I used to have this saying like that if it ever gets like working in the fish finger factory. In my mind, it was bachelors, but I don't think they do fish fingers. And I thought, no,
mushy peas.
I don't. If it gets like that, I'm a sister. So it got to a bit towards like that towards the end, particularly some of the weird gigs we had to do in America. I mean, we were big on the coast, San Francisco. We were like pop stars. LA, like
Same with us, yeah.
New York, and then we found ourselves doing these weird gigs in Dallas, Phoenix, but we ended up hang on, with a support band in a cowboy bar. What the fuck has happened here? Something's gone dreadfully wrong. But I suppose they just had to put some filler in.
Sounds like a
the Dallas Agora. I remember it well.
It sounds like a kind of Jim Jarmusch film or something, That's a great idea for a film, or a short film at least. Young ingenue pop, British pop stars in the middle of a massively redneck area. It would be quite interesting. I'd watch that.
Lived it. Atlanta, that's another one. Yeah, and you get driven about in a limo by the record company. It's not as brilliant as it sounds.
No.
And thought, okay, we've got to train these guys from England. What do we do? They took us to what they call a titty bar.
Oh, wonder what that is.
Now, that was... Talk about barking up the wrong tree. It was not of this really... we just have to go on with it, don't you?
Yeah, can I tell you a place... Oh, should I tell this story? It's a bit risque. Oh, I don't care. When I first went to visit Vince in Amsterdam,
yeah,
he was living on Herengracht and quite not that far away from the red light district, but there was quite a few gay bars nearby. And he said, "Should we go down to my local pub?" This is on the first day I was there. We finished our work for the day, and I said, "Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, that sounds interesting. What's it called?" He said, "The Cock Ring." I thought, yeah, maybe it's not my idea. Perhaps I don't know. It'd be fun. We actually did go, and it was fun. But I thought they don't mess about. It's like
No.
at all in Amsterdam, and actually in a lot of kind of those. Yeah, the redneck thing. I'm not big on. Funnily enough, Glenn toured America. We've never toured America, so.
Oh.
But Glenn toured America with Holy Holy, who are on tour at the moment,
Okay.
the UK, and he did I think it was like a 6-week tour, and he said, "I am never going back to America again." Well, he was on holiday with his family or something, but I'm never going to tour America again. He said it just destroyed him.
Yeah.
It just made him feel very, very kind of psychologically unstable, I think.
Some people love it, and I think they revert to a sort of childlike state. And you've got somebody to take care of everything, haven't you? You've got somebody to get you out of bed, get you onto the plane. You've got people cooking food, so you know you're going to eat. You've got people looking after your clothes. You get so institutionalized. That I found weird, but a lot of people love that.
I don't. We did a tour with Night of the Proms throughout Europe, where you play in these 25,000 venues, and it's really weird. Like
Yes.
100. Have you been on that?
No.
Anyway, it's really good. Big orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good, and they do it incredibly well. But it's exactly like that, to the extent that once you've done your production rehearsals, you never have to even do a sound check every day because everything's on in ears for like 150 people on stage. Can you believe that? Can you imagine the technical challenge of that? Anyway, so you just turn up at the venue and walk on stage. You're not even seeing the venue after a few gigs. You go, oh, this thing. Yeah, but it's that. Everybody's sorting everything out for you. You don't have to think about anything. You become just a functionary, an entertainment
That's
robot.
just an entertainment robot. It started to get like that for me, and we all came off tour, and we'd all had kind of different experiences of it. But I think it drove each of us singularly mad in different ways. And this is where I regret not having a manager mentor at that time.
Oh, right.
Because looking back, hindsight, all that, was somebody who's got experience, seen it all before. Just go, guys, look, what it is, you're all exhausted.
Yep.
You need to just take 6 months off, have some new experiences, nourish yourselves in every possible way, creatively, physically, all of that. And then get back together and something new will come out of that.
Yeah.
But we did a very small amount of that. So that experience, I'm convinced, just in a way made us want to sort of get the Lexicon of Love puppy, tie it in a sack, take it down the serpentine and throw it over. But not consciously. It was just, that was the thing. So we just wanted to be really different.
Yeah. Yeah, no, okay, I dig it. I dig the creative attitude towards the second album. And
it was just a rock and roll suicide though, Martyn, I'm afraid. It kind of was. And I sort of often, I have a sort of multiverse moment where I think, now, where would the Mark White be who had come off that tour and it was all a bunch of roses, it was lovely, and we'd just been told this information, just you've got to recuperate. I think this is what happened to the Scissor Sisters, by the way. That just comes to my mind. Because they just went supernova, didn't they? And then, whoops, second album. But that didn't happen at all, you know. So we were all just wanting to kick back somehow.
Yeah, I think the fact that we actually said we're not going to perform live because we didn't want to get into that touring an album routine when with Hem 17.
But you tour such a lot now, Martyn.
Sorry?
You tour such a lot now.
Yeah, because we love it. But then it was a massive obligation.
I think I'd think of it differently now.
Yeah. It's I think that enabled us to do Luxury Gap. I think we would have never have done an album that was as well considered and as well. I think it's really well produced and the songs, arrangements are good and all that stuff. I don't think that would have ever have happened if we'd have done what you did. And same, I think the same is true for people like Simple Minds, for instance. So as soon as they started doing the big stadium rock thing, for me, I lost interest a little bit. It all became kind of a little bit.
Isn't they? They became like the new Genesis in a way.
Yeah, it was not my
confused the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's just interesting the conscious decisions you make, the unconscious decisions that you don't make, define your career. Really, it's really interesting. Okay, so what was the reaction to Beauty Step? Just refresh my memory.
Utter confusion.
I wish you could see his face.
Utter confusion, and with the benefit of time, I totally get that. Now I can see that. You know, I mean, the analogy I make in my mind is if it's like, I love Grace Jones, right?
Yeah.
Now, I love what Grace Jones does. If she'd gone off and gone, never mind, pull up to the bumper. I've been to Nashville. I've done a country album. I would just freak. I think I know I would have a hard time accepting it. Yeah. So I think that's what we kind of did. And although we were proud artistically of what we, I mean, it was really different, really bold guitars, basically going back to like a band thing. Yeah, it was extremely bold, but people were just completely confused.
Right. What was your
and we started to slide down the greasy pole.
Oh yes, greasy pole. We all know about that, don't we?
Well, yes, it's
so
as hard to get up as it is to get down.
Yeah, although
it's hard to get up, and once you slip down, you can't get back up again.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard.
I think we're squeezing the life out of this metaphor. But what was your favorite work on the album?
I like the single. I like the sort of train wreck. It's our solo. Yeah. I like that bit, and it's also quite catchy.
Yeah.
I also like By Default, By Design. That's just an orchestral thing. I mean, it's all over the place, this thing, isn't it? It's just nothing.
Yeah, but you wanted to express yourself as artists, right? And you thought, like we did with Luxury Gap, we thought we may never get this opportunity again. So whatever we've got in mind, let's be daring and have a go at it.
Yeah.
And I bet you...
But we always had sort of discussions rationalizing it like, well, if we really like it and believe in it, that is the most important thing. Because if it isn't successful, then you can still live with yourself.
Exactly.
But if the record company or whoever's advising you gets you to do something you don't really believe in,
Yeah.
then you've done it and you've only got yourself to blame.
Absolutely well put. That's perfect.
We didn't do that, and I'm proud of that.
That's good. Okay. Now my favorite, how to be a zillionaire. Explain to me the thought process behind the kind of new cartoony version of kind of ABC.
Oh, me and Martyn had always said we both really loved the pop cartoons, you know, like the Osmonds, the Jackson 5,
The Archies.
the Archies. Oh yes, the number one. And Martyn had always got it in his head. He said, I want to do a cover of Judy in Disguise with glasses. I don't know who did that, but it was a completely bogus, made up group.
Right.
And so that idea had always been around. And by that time, we'd shrunk to a two-piece. It was just me and Martyn.
Yeah.
But we didn't really want to present the band like that. It just didn't feel, we felt it needed more. And I'd taken this long break that we should have had after Lexicon, and spent a bit of time in America. And the radio, the R&B radio at that time was incredible. You know, playing stuff that you just didn't hear easily over here in 1984, 85. You just didn't. And very early electro was just starting.
Yeah.
Heard all that stuff. And we heard Malcolm X, No Sellout. Malcolm X. All Keith LeBlanc, who was the Sugar Hill house drummer.
Right.
Was also the programmer on a lot of these early electro records.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
So that had gone in. So with this idea of like, we just wanted to make it look visually interesting.
Yeah.
And I'd met David Yaritu, the little guy, in the USA. And he's extraordinary to look at. Very, very stylish. And in London, I was going to clubs like Taboo, you know, Lee Bowery's place. I just loved it. I loved his stuff.
Yeah.
That was about, and it just all hodgepodged all together. And started writing some. So I mean, by that point, me and Martyn were living together in a flat in Holland Park.
Oh, this is like, it was like the young ones.
See, I told you about this.
No.
Yeah, it was on Lonsdale Road, you know, right next to the tube station. That's Hallam Park. That's Lonsdale Road going into Notting Hill.
Right.
And so we rented a place there. And that also became our writing studio.
Right.
So we started writing a lot of stuff. I'd got an E2 by that point.
Yeah, I had one of those. They're great.
Oh God, I know. It was a shame to bye to the Fairlight programmer.
Yeah.
Because we loved our Fairlight programmer, Gary Mobley. He was just lovely.
The E2 sounded better, you know, I thought.
Well, it did. It was 12-bit or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Rather than 8-bit, and it didn't need so much tarting up in the studio.
That's right.
So started doing that kind of thing, and started writing songs. And I suppose because of the nature of the instruments we gathered together at that time, and then influences from America, it just came out like that. You know, both me and Martyn really love American dance music.
Me too.
Always had done. You know, right. I mean, for Martyn, I think he was into the Northern Soul, you know, regionally when that came out. and then Motown and so on and so on. And then when the early electronic stuff came out, like we were hearing Grandmaster Flash, that blew our minds. Wow, that is amazing. Yeah, and so
tell me about Fiona, because we knew Fiona.
yes, of course, yeah.
I wasn't her biggest fan, I have to say. She was a bit of a strange character as far as I was concerned. But anyway, when I saw that she turned up in your band, I went, "What the fuck?" So tell me how that came about.
Do you know? I really don't know. I think it was because I think we were just bumping into her, like she was another fixture in Taboo. And even better, she knew all the main players there.
Oh, I see.
And was very well connected with all the fashion people.
That's right, yeah.
At that time, I have to say, I was more excited by what was going on in London fashion world than I was about most of the music. I was not into Wham. I was not into Spandau Ballet. And all that period I thought was really meh.
Yeah.
Just didn't like it. And what was happening sort of slightly underground was really very edgy. So that my interest got more into that. But that fed back into the music and the image.
Interesting. Interesting. So what was I'm sorry to keep hammering on about this, but I just find it fascinating. I remember seeing you, I think it was on the Tube. First time I'd seen the new lineup.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a jaw-dropping moment, because I'm going, I was just fascinated to know what was going on inside your conceptual heads, because I could see the irony of it, but it just, I don't know.
It wasn't meant ironically at all.
So it was meant to be like living kind of cartoony.
Yeah, it was looking like because the video for the first single was a cartoon.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
And yeah, and it was, I can't remember their names now, but they had a studio on Neal Street. And we were just really surprised that, yes, you could have a cartoon video. So, I mean, beyond excitement, it was fantastic to be able to do that. And then comes the thing of like, right, oh, so how do we present this? And we'd also started working with David Levine, a photographer.
Right.
Who is a fantastic photographer. He photographed the whole 80s, like very famous for doing Boy George, particularly around that time. And he'd sort of heard of this little idea, what the image, and he'd got hold of these film prop things, like a gigantic angle poised lamp that was, I don't know, about 7 feet high.
I remember those, yeah.
And so we got one of those, and other weird things. I'd had a keyboard, a fake keyboard, made out of God knows what, polystyrene wood and paint, and just covered with red vinyl, PVC vinyl, and painted crazy colors. Totally cartoon. I mean, as if Hanna-Barbera had designed the keyboard. It was that kind of, and so that we thought that's interesting. Yeah, so we did. That is how that.
Well, and tell us about your favorite work on the album.
Well, I really love the some of the mixes we did of How to Be a Millionaire,
Yeah,
Power of London, and we recorded it all. One of the very, very early recordings, totally digital. It was the
oh, Lyle, yeah, that was just starting then. I remember it. Yeah.
M32 track.
That was it, 32 track. And it was like quite small tape, wasn't it? It was not particularly broad. Yeah.
Huge machine though.
Huge machine.
Massive.
Yeah.
Well, they're all are, aren't they?
Oh,
Huge.
I tell you what it was. Let me tell you, this is an interesting and stupid story. We were also recording at that time through Greg Walsh, Luxury Gap, or how many now, I can't remember. Anyway, he said, let's do. Oh no, it was definitely Luxury Gap, Crushed by the Wheels of Industry, and the record company said, "Oh, we want to do a remix of it beyond the remix that we'd done because it was so successful in the clubs," and we went back to the original studio where we did it, and they said, "Oh, we don't have that machine anymore. We can't play the multi-track." And we've searched everywhere, and everybody was either busy or they didn't have this. It was quite rare at the time.
Yeah.
So the record company paid for Greg to fly on Concorde to America to go to a studio. I thought, this is just stupidly. This is going on our bill.
How?
It wouldn't happen now, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought, I was so jealous. I wanted to go on Concorde. I wish I had now. Anyway.
I did.
Yeah, so anyway, I loved the single. I thought it was brilliant. And I was where did it get to in the charts? Do you know? In the UK.
Oh dear, my mind is just I've lost. It slipped my mind slightly.
I love your style. I honestly can't remember. But in my mind, it was a big hit anyway.
He wasn't. But weirdly, in America, they were loving it. Like Eden had just come back from New York, and she said, "Ma, you got to get over there. Everywhere I go, they're playing How to Be a Millionaire. They absolutely love it." So,
wow.
Anyway, you ask why Eden, and I'm just going to back loop slightly to the Tube performance. Maybe you didn't notice what Eden was wearing.
What was she?
A belt made out of dildos.
Oh, I do vaguely remember that.
Yeah. Now that's why Eden was in the band.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't have let you do that.
I'm just putting that there.
Yeah, that's that. Okay. Yeah, I've got an off-piece story to tell you about her later, but I won't tell you as part of the podcast. So when did Martyn start getting ill?
Now I remember by this point, Millionaire had got into the bloody American singles chart.
Right.
Can you imagine? I mean, this is how crazy it can be. You know, they tell you, oh, to break America, you've got to tour and tour and tour and tour. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit, yeah.
This is how it happened from my point of view. I picked up the phone one day, and it's the American management saying, "Ma, you've got to come over. Your record's in the Billboard chart."
Right.
What? I mean, Anoraks will put me straight, but I think it got to number 10 or something like that.
Really? In America?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. So anyway, we had to go to promote it, TV shows, and we were doing a program called Solid Gold.
We did that as well, yeah, with Emerson.
Yeah. And anyway, so we did that. And I remember Martyn saying to our manager, "Oh, I feel terrible, Mark. I just feel like I've got flu all the time." And I've noticed that's not right there. It feels the neck, the neck hands or whatever. And the manager said, "Right, getting you to the doctor tomorrow." And that was the first.
Really?
The first
indication of the.
Yeah. And he didn't look well, you could tell.
Was it Hodgkin's lymphoma?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that attacks all the lymph nodes, doesn't it? And it's horrible. My one of my cousins had it, and I mean, she was fine, but the treatment wasn't very pleasant. But anyway,
yeah. Well,
I don't want to dwell on it. It's just I found it interesting that when I was talking to Paul Bauer the other day about this period. He was saying that Martyn was this kind of guy who would try to drive through stuff, and which on one level is very creditable, but on another level,
You got to put yourself and your own
yourself first.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
there ain't no for anything.
Yeah. Moving on to Alphabet City, then.
Yeah.
By this time, of course, your stock is rising in America, as you said. So I suppose.
Well, we had another hit off that album, How to Be a
Zillionaire,
called "Be Near Me."
I love that song. One of my favorites.
Yes,
the current ABC do
I
live.
had recalled that when you asked me.
Yeah.
But there are some great mixes of that I like. The Munich Disco mix and the Ecstasy mix of that I'm really proud of those.
Yeah.
It's
a very, very good album.
That got even higher. It was something like number 6 or number 4 in the big. Yeah. I mean, I'm very proud. One year I got an award from, is it the BMI?
Yeah.
The American.
Oh, the American one.
Collection agency. I can't remember the name.
I can't remember.
But it said, "Oh, you've been rewarded for X million plays of Be Near Me." I was like, "What? That's great." I was looking at the other people who'd won it. It was like Bee Gees, Elton John, and wow, that's crazy. I hope I've not thrown that away. I know that was an important.
Well, it's a big deal.
It was a big deal, and I even knew it was a big deal at the time. It's very just go, oh, fucking awards,
So did you think that fun that you were going to have that you stood a chance of having a long-term career in America? And my additional question is, if you'd not had a completely useless manager like Paul, no, I'm only joking. But if you've had a proper manager, like a big, top 10 manager, should we say? Do you think they might have persuaded you to spend more time in America and really, make your career?
We went there as many times as we were asked to go.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny. America for me has always been more solid for ABC.
That's very interesting.
And it's odd. They either like you or they don't. And God knows how they work it out. Because there are so many British bands who didn't. And that goes on to the present day. I don't think Robbie Williams ever broke through. I don't think Oasis ever broke through, or none of that ever got.
Rock's music never broke through.
No.
I mean, I think Brian Ferry, some solo stuff did, but
yeah, and in his Love Is the Drug period.
Yeah. But the original Rock's music, they tried to break America in inverted commas, and it just didn't work at all.
Well, as with Glenn, it breaks you, I think.
Yeah.
More likely outcome. But no, we were just happy to go there, and they either take to you or they don't, and it is just with eternal gratitude that they did.
And you still get good royalties from all that stuff. People who have done well in America generally have a much longer tail in terms of royalties.
I do, Martyn. Yes.
I'm really fucking jealous because we never really. Well, firstly, we didn't tour America, but we were never as successful as you guys in America, and we just don't get a huge amount of money out of America. It's interesting. One of my best friends is Marcus Veer from Living in a Box,
Right.
and he's always saying, "Oh, it's PRS time," and all that's fantastic, and
Living in a box.
Yeah, Living in a Box. I mean, literally, is just still played loads all over the world.
Great.
And I'm going, is it that important a thing for you? And he's going, yeah, it probably is for you guys too. I bet the airplay on your big hits are pretty big, aren't they, worldwide?
It's wonderful. And yes, I am one of those people that I see that PRS letter coming through the
You
door,
complete bastard.
and I smile.
Oh, God. Anyway, I'm not complaining. We've all had a good life out of it. So, yeah, Alphabet City was good. Well, great, really, I suppose. So how were you feeling at that time? I know Martyn was ill, wasn't he? So there wasn't, maybe that hampered.
Oh, he'd recovered.
Had he recovered by then? But was he still?
He had the treatment.
Was he at full power though? He looked very gaunt at that period. I remember.
But in my recollection, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, let's say all that his illness started in about 85, let's say.
Yeah.
And then when Smokey things came out in.
What a track, by the way. Just incredible.
It,
And so, tell me who wrote, I mean, who's responsible for writing what on that?
well, as was often the way, Martyn has this exercise book of lyrics. It is every single page is covered with lyrics. So he's never short of an idea for a song.
Right.
And half my job was going, be great for Bob Dylan if you wanted 30 verses, but I think we've got about 12 lines, Martyn, like really good pop song. So the idea about Smokey was about, and I was just playing about writing one day on my own, and I thought, oh, okay, let's do that. Yeah, of course, we'll say nothing more about that.
Oh, I thought the arrangement was great, though. Come on. I mean, it was a classic. It was a classic evocation of a period, so that can't be knocked. It was done with style.
Oh, it's a love letter.
Generosity,
As well. Yeah, yeah. And it does a thing that I really love. I always felt we could never really write enough happy songs.
It's tough.
No.
You know what? Writing happy songs is a much more difficult thing than
Bloody hard work, unless you're Stock Aitken Waterman, I think.
Yeah, and that's all they can write.
And that's all they can write, But for me, it was hard. So I thought, right, look, fuck it. I'm going to just do it in C major.
Great.
The simplest key there is,
Yeah.
And so it's just in C, but in the verses, there are more minory things in it, and jazzy minor sevenths and major sevenths, So I liked that. It's sort of very poetic in the verses, and then it's all hands in the air.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I hear violins, and I remember I was writing that we had a little rehearsal place in back of Whiteley's in Queensway.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, in the basement in the corner. And I was meeting a friend, Ronnie, and I said, we were due to go out. He says, I said, come down the studio. So he came in. I said, I've just got to finish this, Ronnie. Hang on a minute. And I just, did a bit more of that. And he went, I said, oh, right, I've just finished that. He said, Mark, it's a hit.
Yeah.
I said, what? He said, no, it's a hit. I can tell now. It's like, okay, more than I can, but there you go. But it just had something about it. It had some kind of energy to it.
Well, I think the horn line, obviously, in the chorus, is just, I mean, I would think that most people who were real kind of Northern Soul aficionados would get that and would dance to it, actually. So it comes from an authentically soulful place.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Because you've got the backbeat, which obviously is the Motown thing and what have you. But it's like that. It's all pushing and pulling off the beat, right?
Yeah.
People who are not experts in music would hear that on the radio and go, "What's not to like about that?" I know it sounds like a low bar to get over, but for pop music, it's a very important
Surprisingly high, yes, yeah.
because you want the bar to be low enough that the majority of people can get over it. If
Yeah.
you say, for instance, you'd written that song and you just got this beautiful verse going on with some beautiful kind of bittersweet kind of sevenths and stuff going on, and then it didn't have that uplift into the chorus. It just had something that was more, that was still a chorus, but it was more gentle, for instance.
Yes.
No hit.
No.
So both of those things are necessary to provide the chiaroscuro for the whole song.
Yes.
And I just I think it's a great piece of pop songwriting, and I think I would quite happily use that as an exemplar for the people I teach as to how to write a great pop song.
Wow.
No, I would.
Well, no, I'm really proud of that, and it did good. It was a bit of a comeback single over here. I think it got to like number 10, number 11, or something like that. In America, it was also did really, really well. So it was like, boom, here we are. Oh, right, 2 hits in a row in the US. That's good, off 2 albums. And we actually played and promoting it. We found ourselves in Amsterdam in a studio. I think it was Hilversum, actually.
Yeah.
Remember the show Bop Bop?
It rings a bell.
Bop Bop, yes.
Yeah, I think we may have done that.
They're Top of the Pops.
Yeah.
And so we were on that. Well, guess who else was on it? Smokey.
Oh.
And we met Smokey.
Oh, how beautiful. I think Martyn mentioned this in his
Yeah.
interview.
It was absolutely lovely. And
Such a lovely guy, isn't he? I've heard from lots of people.
yeah. And so we did meet, had a little chat, had some photos done together, and thought that was there. And then, a month later, via the American management, 2 letters arrive. One to me personally, and one to Martyn personally. And it's got Motown Records on the top of it. It's from Smokey.
Wow.
Handwritten.
Beautiful.
And he said, guys, first of all, I want to thank you for writing your tribute song to me. I really like it. I appreciate it. Fantastic. And he said, but you probably don't know that we actually made history with that record, because it's never happened before that there's been a tribute record in the chart and the artist they're tributing at the same time.
Oh, right.
So
that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. And he's writing it in his handwriting. He says, "Oh, you may not know, I'm the vice president of Motown Records." Oh, I didn't know that anyway. And he says, and if you ever are in LA, I'd be really happy to show you around Motown Records.
How brilliant.
And then he signs it off, your friend, Smokey Robbins.
Oh.
Now that is one of my treasures.
Oh, absolutely. That's like you could go on Antiques Roadshow with it.
It's not for sale.
No, it's not for sale. I'd never sell it. And all that.
Unless Sotheby's wants it,
Yeah, exactly. And they would, by the way. Wow. That's a great story, actually.
So that was a peak experience, that one, and probably one of my peak music experiences.
Oh, it's got to be. Jesus Christ, I should imagine so.
Yeah.
I mean, you're very lucky, because it's not just about longevity being in a pop band. It's about keeping the quality up over a period of time as well.
Yes.
And hoping that public taste follows you. That's the big problem. And one of the biggest things that for ABC is Martyn's voice is so identifiable that he becomes a fantastic trademark, but also a little bit of a curse over time. And same thing happened with Glenn. It's like he used to be the best
identified or iconic part of the 80s, and then you're like, let's go back to the 80s.
Yeah. So then you end up
Back in the day.
Yeah, you end up in a situation where you've got to get. We even ended up in a situation where we tried to disguise Glenn's voice occasionally, which is ridiculous. I know, exactly. Good luck. We didn't really succeed, but anyway. So let's move on to because we're running out of time. Yet again, we're not going to do a part 3. It's all right. Abracadabra. Tell us about that.
Right. So our deal with Phonogram Records came up. It reached its natural conclusion, and we thought, I mean, we were very much a victim of sort of musical chairs, A&R people in the record. You know, where all the people who liked you signed you, long gone, and all the new people couldn't give a damn.
Yeah, because
that's difficult.
They want the latest DJs or whatever. And
yeah, so we just were looking around, and EMI were interested. So we went to EMI to do that one.
Right.
And the whole dance thing had happened. You know, acid house had happened.
Yeah.
House music, techno, rave. It had gone overground.
Yeah.
And a lot of those influences we wanted to get in, just picking up when you were saying about changing tastes. You know, a half of it is staying relevant.
Yes, true.
Yeah, at the same time, we were quite experienced and had sort of developed a lot of sort of sophisticated sound, polish, which is very not what the dance thing is. It's very minimal, that really. So wrote a bunch of songs. My favorite off that is Love Conquers All.
Right. Right. It's a good song.
It was the single which didn't make it. This is another peak experience for me. We were writing that song. You know, we left a gap. I said to Martyn, "Oh, look, what we need here. Look, let's do like a Phil Manzanera kind of solo here. You know, I'll brush up the guitar, and you know, I think I can do it with enough tracks." And by the end of recording it, there's still a big bloody hole in the record.
Right.
So I said, "Fuck it, let's just phone up Phil." And he didn't really do sessions.
No.
As far as I've known, at that period, this was 1990. He didn't do them.
No.
So we sent a tape to him in wherever he was, Hertfordshire, I think, in his studio. And to my absolute astonishment, said yes.
Yep.
So he came to the townhouse to record his solo. Brought, you know, a wall full of pedals and amps and a couple of guitars. I mean, he's just the sweetest, gentlest, kindest soul.
I've heard this, yeah.
He's lovely. And he said, apologetically, he said, "Look, guys, the way I normally work is I just give me a lot of tracks and I'll just do some doodling. And then we'll sew it all together at the end." And I just went, yes, we do it. Validation.
Yeah.
Wow, that's how Manzanera does it.
Yeah.
Mental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe in that process as well, to be honest.
Yeah. Stitch together the good bits.
Yeah.
Yeah. But leaving the quirkiness as well.
You need a certain amount of randomness, don't you? I think, to make things sound interesting and make it suitable for repeat listenings. I think you need that quirkiness. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, otherwise, what's your character?
Yeah.
I mean, that's character defining, isn't it? Your
Yeah,
quirk,
absolutely.
really. You
Absolutely.
know, yeah. So
Brilliant.
that was lovely, and we got in from LA a keyboard player, wonderful, called Tony Patler. You know, I mean, his CV, it's just got everybody from like Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, George Michael, blah blah. I mean, if you didn't, oh God, can he be that good? But he was, you know. So he got this LA smoothness,
Right.
which he brought, but because he'd spent a lot of time in England and he loved Brits, he went out with Gloria, our mutual friend.
Oh, I know Gloria. Yeah, of course.
So that's kind of how I got to know him. Yeah, so that was a nice collaboration. But probably the only album ABC made that didn't recoup.
Really?
Which is another thing I'm proud of. All our albums recouped, and only 25% of albums ever made recoup.
Is that right? I
Yeah.
didn't know that.
Amazing, isn't it?
You're full of like, pub trivia. It's great.
Well, you get this stuff. You can cling to it as a sort of life raft, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. So you did some production as well, didn't you? You did some stuff with Paul Rudd. Is that right? Tell us about that.
Shortly before that, we'd been going a lot to this place called Shoom, which was a nightclub in Southwark. I mean, it was held in a gym in the basement in Southwark. Maybe that conjures up some kind.
Yeah, it comes with a certain smellscape for me.
A spellscape. The toilets were not up to standard.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit illegal.
Yes.
Whole thing, but it just had the most amazing people in there.
Right.
From all walks of life. You know, you'd got Michael Clark, the dancer.
I've done some I've done one of his shows at the Tate Modern, actually.
Wow.
He's a nice guy, Michael. He wasn't very well when I was working with him, but
Oh. I love his stuff. You know, and you got your smattering of pop stars, you know, Kevin Rowland, who I mentioned last time.
love Kevin. I keep trying to persuade him to come on the podcast, and he won't do it.
Oh.
It's a pity, isn't it?
Yeah. It is, really. Come on, Kevin.
Yeah, come on, Kev. What's wrong with you, man?
Do it. Come on. Yeah. And then Patrick Cox, the shoe designer, was off there. Yeah. I mean, I loved his shoes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. In fact, in When Smokey Sings, there's a shoe solo. I insisted on them focusing on the shoes and doing a little bit of like, you know, I do a bit of footwork and, you know,
Right.
well, I got free shoes after that.
Oofing.
But if it wasn't oofing, well, yeah, it was about as graceful as
free shoes
as an animal's. But
right.
So at least strange, but also weird people like bank robbers, frankly, and, you know, East End criminals and all kinds of sorts.
Interesting.
They all just got on brilliantly. Might have been something to do with the chemicals that were in that area.
Probably had something to do with it.
But it was doing good work anyway. So it was mixing all these people, and Paul Rutherford was there. And we found ourselves going to a lot of the same parties and end up in the same flat after kind of thing. And yeah, me and Martyn just had a chat and he said, guys, I'd love to work with you. And yeah, so we wrote together and did a song, which I love. In fact, I get as much love for Get Real as I do for a lot of the other stuff.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it was a very popular sort of dance record at the time. But it's one of the tracks that people have said, oh, now I get it.
Right.
Yeah, and it has that effect.
Wow.
And I kind of thought production would. I thought that's the natural next step for
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
and I really enjoyed the record with Paul. However, other stuff that I thought about doing and maybe tried a bit, I just thought, I don't know, I can provide a service unless I'm 100% invested in it.
Yeah.
I feel it's coming as much from me as the other person. I lose interest really quickly.
Yeah, me too. I'm a bit like that. I mean, that's why I stopped doing many productions round about the end of the 90s, because I was kept getting offered real cookie cutter stuff, you know, kind of boy band and it's stuff that was coming off TV. And I just said, look, if that's what it's about now, I'm not really interested.
No,
There has to be a creative alliance between me
does.
as a traditional producer and the artist, and then we have to form a bubble, and that bubble is us against the world and the record company, and we create something unique.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I can work as a producer. So this idea of some, 17-year-old telling me what the latest thing is, I just want, as an A&R person, I wasn't really interested. And so, yeah, I can completely dig what you're saying. Makes sense.
So I didn't.
Right. But you
And
could
then, well, no, not given what I'd said. I mean, the only other option was just me launching something else. Frankly, I just had it up to here, the music business. It was really like, ever had a box of fucking chocolates?
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Just
Then you feel sick as a dog.
out of another, and then you just do not want to touch another chocolate.
Yeah.
And that is what I feel what the music got like for me. It was just, well, I've done it all. I can't really think of any new ambitions.
Right.
Also, I was aware it had wrecked me,
Right.
taken so much out of me,
Yeah.
and I wasn't in a state, and this is really how I got to Reiki.
So tell me about, I mean, I'm fascinated with Reiki because, well, as I've got older, I've got more interested in alternative therapies and I've done a certain amount of therapy. I'm not teaching therapy, having therapy myself.
Yeah.
And I have never had a Reiki session. Funnily enough, one of my best friends, Lucy, she's just become a Reiki kind of teacher, and she's offered me a Reiki session. I'm gonna have a go at it. Do you still teach?
No, I haven't. I did, but I did for 10 years.
And tell me what it did for you.
I came to it because I was really looking for healing myself,
Of course. Of course.
and so I was reading every self-help book going. I don't know if it's still there, but there used to be a fantastic bookshop on Monmouth Street, Covent Garden, called Mysteries.
Yes, it is still
So
there, I think.
I would, go in there and look, whatever got my attention.
They did astrology as well there, didn't they, I think, and all that stuff.
Next door.
Oh, that's the next door shop, is it?
Yeah, that's Equinox. Yeah. And then I just sort of once went to this thing that was called the Mind Body Spirit Show that was held every year. It's like trade show, or I don't know how you would define it. It was just hundreds of different people. This is crystal healing. This is Reiki. And I just experienced. I thought, oh, what the hell? I'll try it. I experienced it for the first time, not expecting anything. I mean, I couldn't have been more skeptical, really. And I got off the table. I was very aware. I felt something very strong and very different, but it was so out of my frame of reference.
Yeah.
I just put it in file 13 It was just, I'll put that in the X-Files. I don't know what it was, but I know it was something. And then weirdly, everywhere I went, I kept hearing about Reiki. And then my local gym, Lambton's, which was the end of Westbourne Grove there. I went there and there was like a big stack of leaflets. Do you want to learn Reiki? The Notting Hill Reiki Centre. I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. So I went there and it was on All Saints Road.
Oh yeah, I used to live on Westbourne Park Villas, just off Westbourne Park Road, so literally 100
Just
yards from
round the corner. Yeah, but well, you remember at that time in this early.
it was rough,
It
and
was still the front line.
yeah.
You had police van parked at the end of All Saints Road, 24/7.
Yeah.
Just keeping an eye on things. Certainly not like it is now, posh bathroom shops and stripes of things. No. So I went and experienced it again, and it was the same. I thought, no, this thing has a character. I can feel it.
Right.
And yeah, so I met this guy, Joseph Alberts, who's a Reiki teacher. And I started to have a few sessions from him. And then after a few sessions, he went, so Mark, right, so are we going to run this Reiki Centre together then?
He's back to your money.
What? What do you mean? I've already had I've only had like 2 or 3 sessions. He said, no, it's no more. I think you could, if you want to train, I can train you, and you can just come sit in on the training courses and just assist me. But I'll teach you Reiki first.
Nice.
So he did, and he did what is called initiating me into the Reiki, to being a Reiki channel. And that set me on a process of, you learn in degrees, first, second, and then third, which is sort of teaching level. So I've done all the way up to, well, and including teaching.
Right.
So we did this thing in All Saints Road, and it's amazing. So we do these group Reiki sessions where you'd have one person on essentially a massage table, and you might have like half a dozen people round, all simultaneously putting hands on, and it can get really quite powerful.
Right.
You just create this amazing loved up bubble. It's amazing. And then I always used to make me laugh or / shudder. I'd come outside and there was always crack dealers outside. crack weed. I'm like, no, it's all right. Which is a bit of a shock when you've come from this bubble. So I did help him run that for a little bit. But then when I got my training, I decided to do that myself. He decided to go back to Germany.
Right.
And I got a flat on the corner of Newton Road and Westbourne Grove. And that became my healing centre.
Great.
Which is called the Healing Space. And that was, and when there was downtime, I let other practitioners of different therapies use it as well. And yeah, I did that for 10 years, Martyn. And some of the experiences in that were just so beautiful. And it was really nice coming from music.
Yeah.
Where, frankly, Nest of Vipers.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I thought, oh, this is different. I'm just meeting completely different people. All coming from a completely different place.
But they all presumably want healing of some description. Yeah. So part of what you do is obviously the techniques that you learn and the fact you've got a very gentle manner and empathetic manner. But, some of it is really psychology as well, isn't it? And so you've got to empathize with people's problems, presumably, in the same way that, say, a psychiatrist would. I always think that about people who, are really good hairdressers, for instance.
Oh, that's part of it.
It's a big part of it. You know, it's a big part is making people feel considered.
Yes, and that you've put your finger on it right there. I would disagree that I have to get inside the heads. No, Reiki doesn't do that.
Right.
But what does have to happen is that the person who's a complete stranger usually walks in the room. They don't know me from Adam, and that they have to feel a rapport
Of course.
very, very quickly and establish some kind of trust.
Yep.
You know, because they know they're going to be in a very vulnerable position.
Exactly.
Some awful people could take advantage of that. So that has to happen. But then the fundamental thing about Reiki is you just allow it to happen. You're not directing it at all. And I don't get into people's heads.
It's purely sensory.
Being angels and all this kind of stuff, which is nothing to do with Reiki. It's just a lovely warm energy. And what I found it did for me was it was incredibly relaxing and led me into like a meditative space far quickly and easier than that had ever been possible for me before.
Right.
So it was kind of like facilitating the meditation. And I found what it did for me was reintegrate. It was working simultaneously, physically on me, relaxing. And when you get into that state, healing can happen on like an emotional level and a mental level. So that is for me all I'm doing is channeling the energy, and it's really the energy's intelligent. It goes where it needs to go.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, that
You are my guru.
Well, I'm qualified to know about that, but you know, that's it.
I've only ever had a transcendental experience like that, apart from drugs. Obviously, it's a different thing. But in a completely sober state, in isolation tanks, which I love, by the way. And I did actually have a pretty much an astral experience one time in
I was terrified of doing it for that reason.
Really? Have you ever done it then? No.
Yeah. For a brief period, there was a flotation tank place opened up just on Chepstow Road.
Really?
Yeah. Just down a little alleyway.
All right.
There. I can't, but Bryant begins with B. Can't remember the name now.
Yeah.
But
I used to live on Chepstow Road as well.
really, me too. I was terrified of that happening. What's that movie that's all about?
Oh, Altered States.
Altered State. I was thinking, fuck, if it's gonna do that,
No,
I'm gonna be out of there.
I just found it incredible. I actually did at my. It's like a level of expertise. I suppose it might be the same with subjecting yourself to like Reiki or something, but it's like a level of connoisseurship where you go, I can actually let go of everything. And at that point, then it feels like your body, for me anyway, it felt like my body was rotating in multiple axes, completely weightless, which has the most incredible effect on your mind, because all of a sudden it's like it's like a slow explosion of calmness, which I've never experienced in my life.
Yeah.
I love that. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to the Reiki thing, actually, I must say.
Yeah, I recommend it. I mean, unfortunately, there are a lot of rubbish Reiki people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And which is just a fact.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I really recommend it, particularly, just for centering and soothing, you.
I need that shit like a bear needs honey.
Darkness, yeah.
Yeah. This has been another amazing chat, by the way. We've gone over time, but I think it's worth it. I just got, we did those daft questions last time, and actually since then I've come up with a couple of extra ones. So just give me a sec, one sec. Which I'm going to ask everyone from now on. which I quite like these, which is like, what's the song that you wish you'd written?
Oh, God.
I know it's a tough question.
You know what? There's something wrong with my brain in that whenever anybody asks me a question like that, not only can I think of a particular song, but I can't remember any song I've ever heard ever. And I'm beginning to forget what music is.
Oh, well, actually, that might be a healthy thing. I go through entire periods where I just don't want to listen to music. And then some periods where I'll just sit in my studio and listen to music for hours on end and just get into that transcendental state. And the only other one was, no, I think that's it, actually. That's the only other new one. But look, it's been absolutely fantastic, Mark. And I hope to spend some more time with you, probably with Councillor Bauer.
Lovely.
And we can shoot the breeze in as just a pleasant way, but it won't be recorded. So we can go to all those places that we can't talk about. Brilliant.
Okay.
All right, man. Looking forward to seeing you soon.
You too.
All right. Lots of love.
Cheers, Martyn. Bye-bye.
Bye.